Oh, and I hear doorbelling as people are coming in. So,
I can watch it if
okay.
someone comes.
Okay, so welcome you guys, another Monday evening. Today I'm talking about hold on. Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Today I'm talking about sponsoring. So, hang on, sorry. There we go. Today I'm talking about sponsoring. So, in the beginning of my business, and here's the thing is I know sponsoring is difficult for a lot of people. It doesn't matter what title you are. Everyone always wants sponsoring information, right? So anytime someone says it doesn't matter, literally, I can go to a leadership thing and a ton of people want to know how to sponsor. So directors are asking, star directors are asking. And so it's not just levels of people who are certified wanting to get to lead. It's every single title of the compensation plan wants sponsoring information all the time. And um, so here's the thing is in the beginning of my business, sorry, I'm just trying to minimize my thing here so I can like look up better. Okay. So in the beginning of my business, I was just like, I remember contacting Diane kind of in the beginning because I pretty much I joined for just pocket money. I didn't really want to go out and do much more things other than, get away from my kids, get pocket money, buy myself some jeans, like pay for my kids' activities that they were in, like just contribute to the household in some way. But I quickly realized I was motivated by money. I was motivated to go up in titles, and I was motivated by awards and prizes. So those are my big motivating factors when I joined, and still today. I mean, those things still motivate me quite a lot. And I remember I had spoke to Diane Dreyer, who is my sponsor, and I asked her, "How do you make money?" And she told me the simplest answer that I've ever received as a consultant. And she said, all you do is sponsor and never stop. That's it. That was literally the answer she gave me. And I said, that's it. All you have to do is sponsor and that's it. She's like, yeah, if you sponsor ongoing and never stop, everything that you want in your business will happen. You'll gain titles. You'll have people promote underneath you. As long as you're kind of working with everybody at the same time as you're doing your own personal business, all of that kind of will work. And I'm just like, okay. So I didn't really kind of go out of my way to contact Diane over time to help me. I was a huge self-starter for me. I literally rarely ask people for help. And so there's only been a couple times that I asked Diane for help. And that was the first point of me reaching out to Diane for this. I just wanted to get that answered, that question answered. How do you make money? She said, you sponsor and never stop. So that's kind of where I started. And then what happened was I earned the Hawaii incentive trip in so that was I came in October and I earned the Hawaii incentive trip in January. And so I went to Hawaii in the summer of 2010. And I remember all the chatter there. From Hawaii, that was when I changed my entire business, my entire lookout of the business. I realized I can make more money than I actually thought possible. And so that was my motivating factor. I was just like, okay, I need to do something for me. I do not have education. I literally went to grade 12. I graduated high school, and that's about it. That's all I have. I'm 47 years old, and I still today only have a high school diploma. That's it. I have nothing else. And so I knew as a stay-at-home mom when I joined that I needed to do something bigger by staying at home. And I decided to then put my whole heart and soul into my own business to make it big. And that's the thing. Sensi gives us well, I kind of say it's kind of like a franchise. They've given us almost a free franchise. We bought it for $100, right? And now it's up to each of us to now work within their rules, with the things that they give us. We have their branding, and now we have to go out and build our own businesses from it. So that's kind of like where I immediately took charge of my own business, because I knew nobody was going to build it but me. Right. And so just to kind of get you guys started on your own journeys of building a team, I want you to do a little exercise. And so this exercise is, okay, so the last 6 months of your business, so September to February. So between that time, count up how many customers that you had within that time. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. So if you can kind of think of maybe how much PRV you did through that amount of time. So that's all through the holiday season. So September all the way to February. Think of how much PRV kind of went through your system probably, and then decide like how many customers probably that is. Okay, so now you have your number of how many customers that you probably have within that time period. And I'm just going to kind of put out a number. I'm going to put out the smallest number that you should have if you're getting 200 PRV in the system, okay? So if you're getting 200 PRV in the system and you have many, many customers that you're working with, so that's 1,200 PRV. And if, let's just say, all those people purchased a 6-pack of bars, that's 40 customers. Well, let's just say you're just like, okay, I don't have 40 customers because some of them bought another time over. So let's just say you have 20 customers. So this is just like small numbers I'm kind of giving you if you were just active with 200 PRV every month. So in your business right now, and I'm talking about the smallest number that you could possibly have by getting 200 PRV in the system every single month. Did you ask 20 people to join your team between September and February? Okay, so that's what you have to think about. How many people are you actually asking in your business? Because if you say, and most times when I ask my teammates, or they complain about sponsoring, or I hear people say negative things about sponsoring, and I'm like, okay, let's think about that. How much PRV did you put in the system in the past 6 months? And out of that, how many of those, like how many customers was that? And then I can quickly calculate based on their PRV, divide that by 6 packs of bars. Okay. Divide that by 6 packs of bars. That's how many customers. And I'm like, okay, so you should have 30 customers. Did you ask 30 people? How many people did you ask? And then I would say, if you're telling me less than 5, then you are not working your business the right way. Okay. If you are asking less than 5 people in 6 months, you are doing your entire business wrong. You are doing yourself a disservice. You are doing your business a disservice. You are making less money than you probably could be. Okay. So think about that. How many customers did you have? If it was 20, did you ask those 20 people to join your team? And out of that 20, how many did you actually ask? So I want you to be super honest with yourself. Like, be honest right now, and post the number of how many people you asked in the past 6 months of your business, and post that into the chat. So the first step is being honest with what you're not doing, because you can't grow if you don't think you're doing anything wrong. Okay. And so just start there with being honest with yourself, and are you even trying? Because if you want to grow your team, you will grow your team. If you don't want to grow your team, you won't grow your team. Like, I can't sit here and motivate you enough to start asking people if you just don't want to do that, right? And so yes, it is okay to sit back and just do PRV. You are allowed to do that as a consultant. You are allowed to sit back and only do PRV. Nobody is pushing you to build your team. So nobody is pushing you to build your team. The only person that can push yourself to build your team is yourself. You are not required to build a team, but if you want to build a team, the option is there, okay? So be honest with yourself with how many people you're actually asking. And if you are not trying, do you even want to try? Okay. So I can do this training all day long and all day long for every consultant that I have in my team. But do you even want to do it? Do you have a goal of wanting to build your team? Because if you don't have that goal, you just tomorrow you're going to wake up and you'll be like, that was a pretty cool training, but I'll go on to get sales. And then I'm not going to ask anybody to join my team. So you'll continue on the same path that you're on currently right now if you've not been asking people. And so the reason why a lot of people don't sponsor others, it's not to be embarrassed about it, honestly, because the reason why most people don't sponsor others is because rejection hurts. That's what it is. Rejection hurts. Somebody said no, and you're like, oh, I totally thought, and that didn't make me feel good. Or you did ask, someone did join, and then they didn't do anything in their business, right? So that's the thing. It's mostly to do with rejection or how it makes you feel when you hear the answers people are giving you. Okay. So you have to move past that. You have to just let things brush off your shoulders and you have to come up with some sort of system in your business. So I'm going to give you, and here's the thing. The only thing that you can control is your own sales and sponsoring. Nobody else can control that for you. So that is all in your own personal efforts, okay? So nobody can control that other than you. So do you want it? Don't look at anybody else other than yourself. Don't look at your team. Don't look at them and be like, okay, they're not doing anything. So now it unmotivates me. When I have somebody in my team that doesn't want to do their business, doesn't make me want to stop my business, doesn't make me want to stop sponsoring. So if you have teammates who have stopped sponsoring and now you feel unmotivated to then restart your responsoring all over again, I mean, I get it, but you have to keep moving forward because other people can't stop you in your tracks. You have to be the bigger person to kind of move forward and continue on with the growth within yourself and your team and your own personal people that you're sponsoring. I'm just kind of looking over here if there's questions. But Sarah, if you see questions, whatever, as I go, you can stop me. And I didn't really want to make this too long because there really isn't a lot of training that someone can do for sponsoring. I can tell you everything. I have a list here that I will give you every tip that I have. Okay. I'll give you every tip that I have. The thing what's happening is people aren't doing the tips. The people aren't doing the asking, right? And so here is where here's what works for me. It's kind of where I'm going with. First of all, my mindset, I had a huge growth mindset on building a team. And I didn't matter if someone said no to me, I was going on the next person. The next thing I made sure is I kept finding brand new customers. If you are in a maintenance mode in your business, you need to get yourself out of maintenance mode and moved into growth mode. And so what does that mean? So maintenance mode is when you are getting orders from current customers that you have. You're not out focused on finding new people. So you're just kind of working your business the same with what you currently have. You're not outside of that working to find new people, to get new people within your business so you can ask new people to join your team, right? And so if you are in maintenance mode, and a lot of people are sitting in maintenance mode, and like I said, that's just when you're not growing, you're not looking for new customers. So one of the biggest things to build your team faster is actually finding new customers more often than not. So if you're not in the finding new customers mode, you have to get there. Because if you've asked the clientele that you currently have to join your team and those people are saying no, then clearly you need to find a new customer base, like a new amount of people coming into your business. So number one is making sure that you are finding new customers all the time. That should be your number one focus in 2025 is finding new customers. Number two is then asking those people to join your team or asking those people to sell Scentsy as well. Number three is you need to make sure that your mindset is turned on for sponsoring, because if it's not turned on to sponsoring, You just absolutely won't sponsor. Number four is I remember, and so I don't know, I remember in the beginning of my business, and I look back and I'm like, why am I sponsoring and other people are not? Or like I'm not understanding the process, the disconnect between me and another person, like just how I'm doing it and someone else isn't. But I remember walking out of my house um, it was years and years. It had 10, like maybe 12 years ago. I remember walking out of the house and I looked at everybody. So let's say you walked by somebody with purple hair. Okay. And do you, when you see someone with purple hair walking down the street, do you think to yourself, oh, they would be a really great Scentsy customer? Or they would be a really great team member. I remember specifically walking out, and every time I looked around the world, when I walked out into the world, I looked at everybody as a future team member. That was immediately the first thing I thought. And there's a lot of people out there who immediately think customer, customer, customer. And I didn't think like that. I thought teammate, 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 future teammate. And so what happens when you think of everybody as future teammate? You're going to end up doing everything right in your business. Number one, you're going to get them as a customer or a party host. Next, you'll do follow-ups correctly because you want to keep them in your business. So then you can ask them to join your team. So it's a process. If you are only looking at them as customers, every time you follow up with them, it's only for sale. Sale, sale, sale. I need 200 PRV this month. I need 200 PRV next month. And so these are my customers, my customers, my customers, my customers. That's not the way I looked at my business. I got repeat orders, yes, from the people I'd follow up, but I also was building my team at exactly the same time. And so I was continually getting new people into my business while I was getting sales and sponsoring at the same time. And so if you are not getting new customers, make sure that you are getting new customers. Number one thing on your list, get new customers for 2025. But I looked at everybody as a potential teammate because everything that I did from the time that I met them until the time that I sponsored them is I did everything perfectly right. They become a really great customer, or I became a real, no, not that they became a great customer. I became a really great consultant for my customer. And then I turned that into a relationship, who in turn probably turned into a teammate of mine in some way. So instead of looking at your customers as customers, think of yourself as how can I be a really great consultant to my customer for them to want to be able to switch over as a consultant, if that makes sense. Um, and then I'd say on the next on my list was I connected with them and got them into my business. So I just made sure that I was doing the follow-ups and I was doing all those things, all the maintenance calls that I was doing, offering them when the sales, like they were getting connected with me in some way and getting texts when new things were like I had systems in place that they were always in my business and they were not losing me. I wasn't losing them as a customer because I had this funnel of business that was happening. And not only that, I got into the habit of a closing system. And so I'll talk about my closing system because I just think it's super important and it gets you in the habit of asking. And I'll tell you, and I have it on the sheet actually, okay? And I'm gonna post this, I'll post a sheet in here as well. I can put it in here now. Oh wait, maybe I gotta find it.
And if you could share it with all of us SSDs later, we can share it.
Okay, so my closing, sorry, was that a question?
No, I just said if you can just share it with all of us SSDs too, and we can share it to everyone else
Okay.
on Teams.
Okay, so my closing system. Where did I wrote it down right here. So I went to a home party. It's been years ago now. I went to a home party like another direct sales company. I like seeing what other people do. And so I attend parties that other people, my friends are having or whatever, because I want to see what everybody else does. So I went to this home party once and the consultant at this party, when everybody brought their orders to her, there was a line, it was a jewelry, and there was a lineup of probably about 8 people in line waiting to talk to her and to cash out, like to check out with our order forms. And we waited in line and she did not rush. This was like a teaching moment for me because this was not how I ended my parties ever, or any of my orders actually, until I attended this party. She took the time with every single person who brought her an order. And let me say that again. She took the time. You know how Heidi takes the time with every single person to speak with them genuinely? When you go and meet them and there's a lineup of 200 people, she does not care how long it takes. She will sit there and talk to you without making you feel like you need to go because there's another person in line. That's what she did exactly at this party. She took the time with every single person and asked them the exact same questions during checkout. And so that's exactly what I do now. So these are the questions that she asked. Someone came up with their order form. She literally had her computer in front of her. She was typing it all in as she was closing the party. Like she had her workstation open and she was putting through the orders as people were coming up to her and she was typing it all in. She did not do this when she went home. She did this at the party. She asked some questions. And so this was back in the day. Okay. So back in the day, she's like, do you want to receive my monthly newsletter? I mean, you could still ask that if you want to. And that's kind of where I started. I started doing newsletters with my customers, but that was the one question. Your first question should be where are you? Like, what am I trying to say? Your first question is where you are, how you promote your business. Okay. VIP group, text outs, newsletter. What do? You want your customers a part of those. So when someone comes up to you at a party, home party, you're doing a home party, there's 10 people in line. Do you want to receive my newsletter? Do you want to receive do you want to be a part of my VIP group? Do you want to receive my monthly text or whatever that you're doing? I did text after a while, so I don't ask for newsletter or VIP. I don't have any of those. So I ask people if they want to be in my text system. If you have a VIP group, ask them if they want to be a part of your VIP group. So whatever it is, wherever you are promoting your business, that's where you want them to be. So that's the first question you're going to ask to check them out. The next one is the most important question that you're going to ask anybody. Do you want to sell Scentsy too? So that is question number 2. If they say no, thank you, then you go on to question number 3, and that is, do you want to host a party? So, and they'll say yes or no. So keep those 3 questions in your business when you check out anybody. Doesn't matter if it's at a home party. It doesn't matter if you are on texting them. Ask them. Just say, so what I do is before I close this is how I say it. I actually have it on the sheet right here. And it's the very first one on the sheet because it's exactly what I say. And I text it and I verbally say it when I'm at a party as well. But I'll text before I place your order. Are you interested in selling too? Because I think you would do well with it. It's the very first thing that's on this sheet. And so the answer is going to be yes or no. And I want you to think now. Be okay with the no. Be okay with hearing no, because you just move on with your day. You're not, you know what I mean? Like they're not thinking about how it made you feel that they said no. You know what I mean? They just want their stuff. Okay. So the next question, then why I have host a party last is because if they don't want to join, then I want them to host a party. Okay. And so I would rather them join my team than host a party. But if they want to join my team, I'm like, okay, well, do you want to have a launch party? And that's where the host a party can kind of come into and kind of work in your favor because you can help them host a party, right? Because they want to join. So that is a closing system. So if you have, so like we kind of go back, if you had 1,200 PRV, you had 40 customers, and then I said, no, let's cut that in half to 20. Did you ask 20? What if you ended up doing all 40? What if you ended up doing all 40 and asking them this when they place their orders? Right? And so when I went to that lady's party, that totally switched a whole different part of my business on, was right there. Because I was meeting new people. I was doing home parties at the time as well and finding a lot of people that way. And so it was easier for me to think to myself, oh, I'm just going to pretend these are questions on my order form. I'm just going to pretend there's 3 boxes I got to check off when I'm filling out an order form. And so if you keep it in your business, people will understand that you're always going to say these questions. I mean, no, you don't have to ask people every time they place an order with you, but it's at least great to get into a habit if you can say it every third time they place an order with you. Because everybody says no the very first time. So let me just have you understand this part. Everybody says no the very first time. Why? Is because they are caught off guard with what you ask them. They're like a deer in the headlights. They're like, no, 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 I wouldn't be good at that. Or no, I don't really want to do that. Everybody says no because they really are not, don't really know what you're asking them and they didn't expect the question. So that's why we get a lot of no's when you ask someone for the very first time, is because they're not expecting the question. Like they're not expecting you and they don't know what to say back because they weren't expecting the question. And so that's why I say everybody says no the very first time. But what happens is they then go home and they're like, what was she asking me? And then, as they're watching you do your business, they're like, oh, maybe this isn't that bad. She was asking me if I wanted to sell the stuff as well. And now she's like turned on in her brain. You've turned on this light switch that she knows what being a consultant is because she's now watching you do it. She's watching you sell it. You have her in our VIP group now. And so that's why it's important to ask them the second time, the second order that they place, is because of the higher probability that they will say yes the second time that they've come to you for an order is higher. But I don't ask everybody every single time they come to me, like the same people. So if someone said no to me twice, I usually wait twice and I'll ask them again. Because people, um, I did do like a little survey with some of my teammates, the ones that sponsored a lot of people. So I went to them and I said, please tell me the last 5 people that joined your team. Like, tell me about them. How did you get them? How long were they a customer of yours? Blah, 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 blah. And these are my top people in my group who sponsor lots. And it was unanimous. People were in as a customer with them for 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Like people are sitting as a customer in your business and they end up joining. And so that's rare that people just come out of the woodwork and come and ask you. It's rare that happens. And if it does, you're super lucky because it rarely happens. You may get 1 or 2, maybe a year or less, even 1 a year. But anyways, so like it was unanimous of what all my top sponsors in my group said, is that they're all customers and they've all been customers in their business for 2, 3, 6. Like it was a weird exchange because everybody kind of said the same thing. 5 people joined someone's team last month and one was in their business for 3 years. And she's just like, this person just joined after 2 years. And I've asked her 6 times over and she's always said no. And now finally her life changed and she decided to say yes. Like people's lives change. People could be in school right now and they just don't have time, or they're working full time and then 2 years down the road they become a mom and a stay-at-home mom, so their circumstances change. They want something different. Or someone loses their job and now they're kind of looking to you, and if you're not asking them, someone else will. That's the whole premise about that as well, is like if you're not the one asking them, they're going to end up joining under somebody different. But so here are, I'll run through the sponsoring tips really quickly. And the biggest thing is like people are just like, well, it's not that I don't know how, or like they just don't know what to say. And so I have a list of things that you can say to ask people. And what you do is you just pick from the list of what fits the circumstance that you're currently sitting in. So you can have this on your desk every day. As you have customer orders coming in, you can look at this sheet and be like, okay, this one fits the circumstance. And this is how I'm going to say it. But number one, like I had said, I even at a home party or basket party, my most biggest thing that I say is before I place your order, are you interested in selling Scentsy too? Because I think you would do really well with it. That is mostly what I say. There's also, and another tip I can say is stop saying join my team. Join my team. Join my team. Makes it sound like it's all in it for you. So if you can kind of cut out saying join my team, because joining my team benefits you. What is the benefit to them joining is kind of where you want to make sure that the focus is if they join your team, you're the one benefiting from that. But it's easier to sponsor someone if you are more focused on how is it going to benefit them. So instead of saying join my team, you say do you want to sell Scentsy too? Right? Because you know there's a benefit of them selling Scentsy because clearly they're going to make a commission. So just have a big list. So do you want to come back and be a consultant again? It's free, so that's for reinstatements. You buy so much Scentsy from me, why don't you just sell it to make commission back on your orders? Okay, so those are people who order pretty regularly. Maybe someone you've asked join before, but you have not asked in a long time, but she's still placing orders. So you can say something like, and I've done this as well with just these regular customers. You can say, I can't keep taking your money. You really need to just sell Scentsy and make your own money off of it. I have a hostess right now, and she's literally been a hostess of mine for an ongoing 2 years now. I just keep giving her a shopping link. She has literally had a shopping link for 2 years. She will not join. I've asked her 3 times. And literally today, I could give you the text. Listen to this. Email. It was email. She said, will you be mailing out catalogs? I have a few older ladies that don't like to go online and want catalog. I would take 8 to 10 if possible. So she's literally being a consultant without getting paid for it. And it's ticking me off. I'm just like, lady, you need to join. And so now I'm going to send her like 10 catalogs because she's acting like a consultant, but she's not getting paid. And I've told her over and over and over, and she's just not. It's totally fine, but at least I'm asking. Okay. I'm asking. And she'd be a really great consultant because we close off her shopping links every 3 months. And every 3 months, she'd get like $150 in free stuff. So there's that. You could say, you need to sell Scentsy because you buy so much of it. So that would be her too. Or you can say, you can tally up the amount of money that they've spent with you. Go through before you contact your customer with her final total. Do your research and go back and see how much she's bought with you. Okay. Get that dollar amount and say, I can't keep taking this is what I wrote down. You've spent $800 in the past 8 months. Why are you not a consultant? Are you interested in selling it too? I'm not saying anything about join my team. It's just, are you interested in selling it too? And then I've also have here, before I place your party order, are you interested in selling Scentsy? Because you can use this as your first order and your commission amount would be, and you tell them what their commission amount will be. I know you were interested in doing Scentsy before. Our current consultant kit is discounted for the new spring and summer season. Just wanted to know if you wanted to take advantage of that. And you should start your own Scentsy business. I think you would do well with it. And I think I've talked about it. And here's the thing. So down here, I have this spot right here on this sheet. It says, how do I not make it spammy? So remember, it's all about them and not you. So don't say join my team because it makes it seem like they are a sale or a number. Why should they join your team? Instead, choose something above. So you choose one of these things that I just kind of went through. You choose one of those questions. Ask when you get an order. Pick one of the conversations above, like I just said. Do you want to host a party in the spring? And the last question that you can ask because you want to gain new customers is, do you have two friends that want to place an order with you? So if she says no to all the above, you'll say, do you have two friends that want to place an order? We all know that one's an easy one. And that just gives you possibly two more brand new consultants if you're on the process of gaining new customers. Yeah, and then before you close the party, I just say, before I place this order, are you interested in selling Zensi 2? Because we can use this as your first order and your commission is da 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 da. Yeah, I have that all listed here. Leave this on your desk and utilize it. And literally, here's the thing is, if you can up the amount of times that you ask people, the more likelihood you're going to build your team faster is better. Okay? Because the slower you go with asking, the slower your team is going to grow, which means people will just fall off. Someone will fall off before you get a chance to add a new person, right? So you want to have a lot of people in a short amount of time rather than one person and then wait to see what they do and then sponsor again 6 months later. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just sponsor one time this month and decide, okay, I'm good until 6 months later. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want to get 10 people in now, right? Within, say, as quick as possible. As quick as possible as you can get 10 people, the better. And then when that happens, then you do the exact same over again. You get in 10 people as quick as possible and you keep kind of doing that process over and over and over. Because that's the worst thing is when we have teammates that have one person join their team, but then they just fall off in like a year. And then, they have not continued to rebuild their team. So you have to keep building your customer base to be able to find people to ask, to be able to get them in your business. So the more customers that you have coming in, the more likelihood you're going to grow your team faster and quicker. And that's what you want because then you'll have more excitement and excitement builds excitement. And so you want to have lots of excitement with lots of people, if that makes sense. And that's all I had to talk about, you guys.
That was great. Thank you. The only question was, how do you get new customers? Gary's on and he's new. So I think a few of us just kind of replied to him. Let's see, Peggy just asked, does anyone have a good letter or something to send out to prior team members to come back? And that's something maybe we could share.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 80, of course, just said, Carla, way to slay it always.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I even took notes. A lot of this, I think some of us know we need to do this, and it's just remembering to do it over and again and again. Oh, sorry, my screen.
Yeah, no, that is true. It is. It literally is. You got to do the activity to see the fruits from that labor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not doing it, you're not going to see. You're going to be wondering why you're sitting stagnant and not growing. Well, have you been doing the work, right?
Right. Yes.
And that really is the hardest part. I'm not saying it's easy. Sponsoring is not easy. No one said it was easy. I never claimed to say it was easy. But if you, like for me, I just had this inner push, be like, I'm doing it. I am doing it. I've sponsored hundreds of people over 15 years. I have a pretty great group of people all over the world. I have half of my group is in the UK. And I've grown a pretty amazing, huge group in Canada at the same time. And so it's like doing the work to be able to see how it's all going to play together.
Yes, agree. So, let's see. Did you count follow-up texts for a purchase where you asked to see if they will like to make extra money with Scentsy? Carmen just asked that in the post. I don't know. Did you count? So were your follow-up texts, is that what you were counting as asking them to join? I think is what she's asking.
So like during follow-up,
Yeah, or your follow-up text, is that what you count as asking? You ask, and I'm guessing is what she said.
I
Carmen, maybe clarify.
don't understand the question.
Did you count follow-up
She
text?
was asking how many people you ask in the month. Then I was asking if you consider that I'm asking when I follow up a new customer that I met in an event that they did a purchase. My routine is as soon as I get home and I have the opportunity, I follow up with them and thank you them and let them know, do you know that you can make money purchasing Scentsy? If you count that as asking somebody, or you prefer that you consider that it's better to go just in one text instead of thank you and asking that, going straight to ask.
I think it depends per customer kind of deal. Depends on maybe how long you've even known them. If so like a maintenance phone call kind of follow up, like say you met someone at an event and they've purchased Scentsy and now you're just kind of texting them saying, hey, I'm just making sure your products are working okay and all that. I sometimes depend kind of sometimes it just depends on how I feel the energy between me and that customer. I don't go in with every single customer to immediately like engage in the business. Sometimes I get them into my business first and have them purchase a second time, or I've reached out a couple times and given them information like a link to a catalog. I try my best to have touched them a couple times, if that makes sense. So I've met them, I do my maintenance, text or phone or whatever I'm doing. And then I'm offering a catalog, so that's another touch point. Or I'm after offering them a free sample for the month, that's another touch point. To then be able to, yeah, and then I absolutely say, have you ever like, were you ever thinking about selling Scentsy too? Or we have, you can make money with Scentsy as well. Sometimes that you hear, they tell you kind of what their life story is. It literally is different per customer. When I first meet someone, I rarely ask them right off the bat, but I do get them into my business. And then I will ask them for sure on their first or second big order. Did I answer your question? What about you, Sarah? What do you do?
With follow-up with my customer, every time anyone places an order, I always send that this is how much you made. I think I've shared that before. So I'm always posting that out there every time, whether they come to my house, whether they order online, this is how much you could have made if you were a consultant. When I'm following up with texts, I'm a texter, but I do give them the option. I say, kind of goes back to your first question, right? I do text and email. So I'm saying, thanks for being a customer. Would you like to find out about new products, whatnot? Would you rather text or email? I don't really give them an option of neither. I just say, which one would you rather, text or email? That way they can do it. And then that's when I follow up. And after the second or third, that's when I say, hey, you could have made X amount. And then I follow up with them, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I actually like that. It's good.
So, and like you said, I have some that don't want to join. I have one that spends tons, not tons, but she spent over 1,000 in the last 2 months and still just doesn't want to join, which is fine. I'll keep her as a customer. And I always say that, I appreciate you as a customer, but I hate taking commissions away that you could be making for your own self off your own product that you're buying. So I always just let them know that's how much they could have earned even off their own sales. And maybe they could get some family or friends or whatnot. So yeah.
Rebecca just said, I'm thinking of just doing email text also versus VIP group. How often do you send an email out? So I have different ways of communication based on how people ordered. So I have an email for all my PWS people. So if they order on my PWS, I am not contacting them in text. They don't want nothing from me. They literally just want to order through the web and they don't want person-to-person contact usually. And so they will get email. So I email everybody well, they get that like thank you for your order kind of deal, and they get the tracking. So technically it kind of looks like it's coming from me, but it's not. So they're getting like two emails, the thank you for, you know. But I do send, once they receive their product, I send them an email. I just sent one out the other day, actually. Sometimes I send it out in bulk one time or twice a month. But once they receive it, they'll receive an email. Let me read it really quickly here. And I get actually, so I used to send it using MailChimp. I used to send MailChimp. And this last time, I sent it for the first time in the Scentsy back office. And so I got to see how many people opened it and stuff. And I noticed all my other things that I send out in MailChimp, like all the other things that I send out via mass email to my customers when things drop and stuff, the highest ones that are open the most are this email that I sent. So I think I had, I'll go right in there. Hang on. Let me open up MailChimp. No, not MailChimp. That was my workstation. And I'll read it. Contacts. No, email. Okay, so my email to everybody was, it said, so the subject was, did you receive your Scentsy products? And then I say, hi, I'm just checking in to see if you received all of the Scentsy products you ordered last month. If you've not received it yet, just email me back and I'll take a look. I'll look into it for you. If you are needing anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for choosing me as your Scentsy consultant. And then I usually do like what's happening now. So I said number one, new Harry Potter products, and I linked it. And then the March Whiff box is linked, and the new spring and summer catalog is linked, and the clearance section is linked. And then I just said, if you want to stay up to date on Scentsy releases, see product unboxings, new fragrances, you are more than welcome to click the follow button on my Facebook and Instagram. And I said I do a lot in my story section if you want to view it at your leisure. So personally for me, for my PWS orders, I just treat them differently than my local orders. My local orders is going to get text, or anybody in Canada who is a customer of mine can get text as well. But it's mostly my locals that get personal text anytime something drops. But I've got, I think, where'd that go? Let me look at the open rate. I had a 50% open, more than 50% open rate on that email. So, I mean, that's a pretty good, if you're, when you're sending emails. Looked more like 60%.
That's really good, actually. So.
Mhm.
I'm not seeing any other questions. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That was great.
I kind of hope that, you know, if you're interested in sponsoring, just ask someone else for help. Like there's more people out there that have better tips than me even. Look around for the information. But I'll tell you something right now. You can do all the training you want, but that's not going to grow your business if you're not doing the actions. Okay. So ask when, and that's the easiest time to kind of like get the habits in place is to do it when you're placing an, when someone's placing an order with you. Just get the courage to give it a try. And at the end of this, it says there's a challenge here. And it says, I challenge you for the next 3 months while you're getting orders in to ask each person if they would like to sell Scentsy too. So try that for at least 3 months and don't talk yourself out of it. So here's the thing is like, we can kind of get into be like, okay, this is what I want to do. And you ask two people and they both say no. And you're like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I've totally feel terrible now that I can't build my team because nobody wants to join my team because I've asked two people and two people said no. And so you have to be like, okay, I need to give myself at least 3 months of doing this habit to asking people on every single order and see what happens after that. Don't talk yourself out of it in like 7 days. Don't talk yourself out of it in 7 days. Rebecca says, do you flip your parties a lot? I try to flip my parties a lot. I always ask. But I also, did you know that people can join your team with the large kit and you can still flip the party to them? Like, do you know what like you can have it go through your system. You can press pay and you can pay and close it on your workstation and it'll still move over to the new consultant even if they bought the kit for $100. Does everybody know that?
I think
So,
what, as long as the party was opened with the same email they're joining on, you can.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So as long as you have the host's information in there, you can sponsor people, you can offer to flip parties. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the host kit. So someone can join for $100 and then you can go and close that party off and she can get all that PRV. It'll all just automatically move over to her.
But need to be her party. She was supposed to be the host, not a party that I was the host and I want to flip it.
Correct. They have to be the host of the party, yeah. They have to be listed as the hostess with the email. But for me, I actually don't sell a lot of the cheaper kits. Like I give people, a lot of people that join through me purchase the large kit. And so, I mean, I may snag them because the host kit showed up, but then I sit and I say, these are your 2 or 3 options that you have. Which one do you want to take? So I do give them the option at the very end. And a lot of people appreciate that. They're like, well, I get more in this one and I want more stuff. And I only do that because I wanted the more stuff. If there was a $300 kit, I would have bought a $300 kit, right? And so that's why I still, even though say it's a $26 month and someone wants to join for $26, I still give them the option. Like, these are 3 options. Which one do you want? So I still do that. Doesn't, and I have more people that pick the bigger kits.
I'm not seeing any other questions. So thank you, Carla. You're amazing. So,
You're welcome, you guys.
yeah. So I think
yeah. So if there's no questions, if there is questions, just post them somewhere. There's lots of leaders that love to help out with sponsoring, and if you need one-on-one phone calls, just message your director, superstar director, and like 100%. I would never say no to a teammate of mine who wanted more sponsoring information. So if you need a one-on-one call, ask for a one-on-one call to chat with a superstar director in your upline about sponsoring, because if that's where you want to grow, that is like a huge focus for any of us, even for me. I'm still growing my team, right? I have not stopped because of my title. I'm still growing my team. Oh yeah, let me find that. What was it called? Sponsoring.
can you upload things on here?
I think
guess it says file. I guess you can. If not, you can share it with all of us SSDs too. We can share it with your recording link too.
I got it. I got it. There you go. Did you guys get it?
Yeah, it did work. I didn't know you could do that.
Keep that on your desk and then it'll give you a little bit of motivation. When you look at it, every time you get an order, you're like, damn it, Carla, that freaking paper's sitting on my desk. Now I have to do it. Like, keep it on your desk so you actually can utilize and remember to do the action.
Take a picture of and put it into your screensaver on your phone too. Not just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, all the wording is there for you. So you can't say you didn't know how to ask, because I have all the tips of ways that you can say it. So, okay, anyways, you guys, thank you for attending. I'll make sure I download this so you can send it to your teams. I'll have the link ready in a little bit.
All right. Thanks, Carla.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
everyone.